Good morning and welcome back to another episode of Business Beyond the Beach, a chamber talk show in collaboration with our friends here at Miami Community Newspapers. My name is Brittnie Bassant. I am the president and CEO of the Miami Beach Chamber of Commerce. And today I am here with Freddie Peterson. Freddie is the general manager of the Miami Beach Convention Center, and he also serves on the board of governors for the Miami Beach Chamber of Commerce. Freddie, it is an absolute delight to have you here today. Thank you so much for joining us.
Great. Thanks, Britt, so much. Really appreciate you allowing me to come on the show. And thank you so much for everything that you do for the Chamber.
Oh, Freddie, absolutely.
Truly grateful.
Okay, so I know you really well, but our audience and our guests don't know you. But hopefully by the end of this, they'll get to know you a little bit better. So let's start off with, we hear the accent. Talk a little bit about where you're from and how long you've been here in Miami and Miami Beach.
Sure, great. So, 50 years of my life. I lived up in Boston, Massachusetts, actually South Boston, Massachusetts. 20 years of those 50 years, I worked at the Massachusetts Convention Center Authority, and I was lucky and blessed to be afforded a tremendous opportunity to come down to Miami Beach. I live on Miami Beach. I'm a resident of Miami Beach, and for the past 6.5 years, I've been able to serve as a general manager at the beautiful Miami Beach Convention Center. That is privately run by my company, by the way, called Oakview Group.
Wonderful. And so when you were younger, like when you were a young kid growing up, what did you want to be when you grew up? Like, well, like if I asked little baby Freddie Peterson, like, hey, what do you want to be when you grow up? What was the answer to that question? And how do you feel that shaped what you do today with a career in sort of hospitality and events?
I don't think that's on the question sheet.
What question sheet?
It's interesting. So I always thought that there were two paths I was looking at one point. One was to be a DEA agent. And then the other one was I was looking at to be an engineer. So obviously neither happened.
Okay.
So I guess
did that shape you going?
Yeah, I know. So I think as you pull together venues, convention centers, especially the enormous size of our building and the campus, you think of safety and security, you think of structure, engineering, construction, et cetera. So they kind of, I guess, synchronized somewhat. So
yeah, I can see that. I can see that happening. Okay, so since you brought up safety, it was further down in this question sheet that Freddie referenced a little bit earlier, but let's talk a little bit about safety. So what strategies, especially in today's world where safety is a concern and we have to be cognizant of it, what strategies are you utilizing at the convention center to make sure that the guests and the exhibitors feel safe?
Yeah, so great question. So from a venue manager's perspective, we always look at safety and security first, and then obviously a huge layer of excellence in customer service and venue management. So it's very much in our DNA every day, all day. From a safety and security perspective, and working with the city of Miami Beach first responder community, we go through multiple layers of event threat assessments. We have a Honeywell camera system here, life safety system. That is, I think it's about north of about 400 right now. And then just with the wonderful safety and security team that we have here at the building, along with security contractors, if you're hosting, about north of 650,000 people on an annual basis, millions of pounds of freight that are coming through our loading docks, working with a variety of different general service contractors, et cetera, that is very much front of mind. So it can be anything from a slip and fall to venue damages to thefts, et cetera. So it's very, it can be a very tense, a little bit complicated at times, but at the end of the day, we want people to enjoy themselves.
Yeah. So we jumped ahead a little bit. You are the GM for the Miami Beach Convention Center. So let's talk a little bit about that role and sort of some of the aspects of what your role as a general manager, sort of like, I just consider you the guy that's in charge of everything over at the convention center, which you are. And kind of, a little bit about what your role encompasses, but also just a day in the life as the GM for an incredibly large convention center.
Yeah, I guess on any given day, like the rest of us, it's completely different. As a general manager, I guess it's a little bit of that figurehead, but to be honest, it's really about the team at the end of the day. I'm very blessed, very humble, and very lucky to have such a great team through Oakview Group, Sodexo Live, a food and beverage provider, Everlast is our AV provider, and then on the IT front, Smart City. So if you look at that core group, small but mighty, as the saying goes, and you expand that out to a variety of different unions, different types of contractors, et cetera, It's big space, 1.4 million square feet of space, about 4 acres of open space in the venue, the Rum Rum restaurant that everybody knows about. And you're talking about north of 100 events on an annual basis. So starting with the team first, and then, again, as we host events, so as we look at ongoing investments by the city of Miami Beach. It's a tremendous responsibility, but again, one that I'm very proud of and very grateful to be doing on behalf of the city of Miami Beach. So.
And you and I have talked about this. It's so important to have that team around you. I love to say that nobody accomplishes anything alone, and you are only as good as people that you surround yourself with. 100%. And if you build an incredible team, then they're just going to help elevate not just you, but the entire organization as a whole. So, and I know your team, and they're amazing. So shout out to them. What's your favorite part of the job? Like, what do you enjoy the most?
You know what? I always say if you don't get the back of the house right, the loading docks, et cetera, and how the team works in unison. You think of production schedules, et cetera. Everybody loves the beauty of the convention center, architectural design, et cetera. It's absolutely amazing. I kind of like the back of the house. I think that that's really where the magic happens. If you look at, I always joke that it's 90% of the work to be done with 10% of the work left to be done. The teams, you're talking thousands of temp employees at any given point in time. What they do, I wear a suit every single day. I probably stick out like a little bit like a sore thumb at times, but to be in that back of the house and to really engage with the teams and be as supportive as possible, and it's magical as to what they do. So again, beauty of the front of the house, but you look at that back of the house function and what the team does there is just nothing short of spectacular.
So you talk about the beauty of the front of the house. And so Freddie serves on the Chamber's Board of Governors. And we're going to talk about that in a little bit. But we were actually hosting a board meeting, and it was the first week of December. And there's something else that happens the first week of December as well. It was a small little, art show, Art Basel, hosted at the convention center. And Freddie comes over for a board meeting, and you were just the epitome of calm, relaxed, and I looked at you and I'm like, don't you have a massive operation going on across the street? And so I want to talk about that, what it's like to manage these major events. Sometimes you're managing multiple events in the convention center simultaneously, or you're hosting something incredible that's a global undertaking like Art Basel. Art Basel attracts visitors from across the world. And you're hosting all of that at the convention center, and you're doing it so seamlessly and so with such grace under pressure. And so what's your strategy for doing that? What advice would you have to others? Talk to me about what that's like.
Yeah, I've never done an art show in my entire life. So again, coming from Boston and being at the Miami Beach Convention Center, in Art Basel and Art Week and Design Miami is right across the street. Yes. It is a massive undertaking. It's a year-round planning effort. It's 23 days between move-in, event days, and actually move out. But it's in simplistic form, it is about the team. It is about that relationship side of it. And it's simple communications. I think that in production schedules, and the more that you communicate clearly, constantly, consistently, and responsibly, quite frankly, because there are a lot of things that happen behind the house, behind the scenes, so to speak, in the back of the house that a lot of folks don't see. So being able to have the opportunity, and again, really blessed here to put on a global event like Art Basel and really be a part of Art Week. If you think of Miami Beach and Miami and what that does on a global scale, it's enormous. And I never think the stress of it, the pressure of it, it's a little bit, quite frankly, in a different way, a little bit of the fun with it, because you think of the smiles that you put on people's faces from a venue manager's perspective between, the galleries or exhibitors, the attendees that come into the building, and you look at their faces and how they light up and what they see is just makes it worthwhile. Yeah,
it's making that whole experience just absolutely seamless, not just for you and your team and for your exhibitors, but also, again, for the guests that are experiencing this. So let's talk a little bit more about the asset that you have, right? Sure. This incredible convention center, and it just underwent a renovation. So talk to me about that and how you and the team at the Miami Beach Convention Center are sort of staying ahead and using innovation to stay ahead of convention center trends?
Yeah. So again, lucky, blessed, $640 million reimagined convention center. So expanded from about 1.2 million square feet to a little over 1.4 million square feet of space. That's, I'll give you a couple of numbers, about 500,000 square feet of exhibition hall space. Largest ballroom in South Florida, 60,000 square feet, 4 junior ballrooms, a little bit north of 80 meeting rooms, and then 800 roof deck parking spaces. So it is a major renovation. City of Miami Beach did really a masterful job on not only the functionality when I talk about the back of the house and how that works into all those spaces, but also, excuse me, the architectural statement, the fins in the building, et cetera. Just exquisitely done. The finishes that they've used, the beauty of the light that they brings into the building, just really incredibly blessed on that end. And then the city itself continues to invest into the asset. So when you talk about innovative things and what we continue to look at, it's at its core, it's a venue, it's a building. It's what you do to attract that high quality, that high caliber types of events. So when you talk about Art Basel, Art Week, even the boat show, the largest boat show, yacht show on the planet we host in Miami Beach and in downtown Miami. The capital side is really, really important. One capital project that we're super, super excited about is the digital side of it. So $1.5 million of 4 large-scale digital boards that we'll be putting in between now and the end of September this year. Great ROI. Customers are absolutely thrilled. We talk about sponsorship and also driving revenue, not only from event perspective, but also from a venue perspective. So being able to have that reach that ROI back to the city, driving the revenue. And there's also the sustainability side of it, which is really important.
I was just about to ask you about sustainability because I know it's so important to you is sustainability. So talk to me about your sustainability components and initiatives.
So again, on the industry side, Events Industries Council, we have, I believe, silver certification right now. Sustainability is indeed one of the top 5 deciding factors for conventions, trade shows, meetings, et cetera. So the team, not only to have the building certified that way, but also in United States Green Building Council, we also have silver certification there as well. But employees are now going after their certifications on that. And so when you talk about everything that we do in the sustainability front, we had zero waste, absolute zero waste event, Cisco, back in the fall of 2023. And that was a massive undertaking. But when you believe it, you live it, and you're passionate about it, and quite frankly, it's now a given. The sustainability side, again, kudos to the city of Miami Beach, what they did with the physical asset, with water, et cetera, has been truly amazing. So.
And when we talk about the convention center, we're talking about these, global trade shows, largest boat show, Art Basel, so many other things that you host. It really seems on like a global or national scale. And so how are you leveraging those conventions and those partnerships to then turn around and support local businesses and local economy? Because I know that you're very cognizant of making sure that you bridge that gap. So tell me a little bit about your work in that arena.
Yeah, I think, and thank you for that question. It's really important, and when you're passionate about working with local, diverse suppliers and working, with the tremendous work that you and the chamber does, it comes easy. So a lot of what we push out there for RFPs, contracts, et cetera, when you're super focused on that, when you're working with local hardware store, locksmiths, painting store, florists, et cetera. And it's something from a GM's perspective, when you set the tone at the top and you set that expectation. And there's also, expectation from the city of Miami Beach. When we look at capital and operating budget, they want us to obviously spend locally and look at the local businesses and how do they benefit. That's a part of that $640 million spend. It's a part of what, convention centers do, that spin off an economic impact, but also being able to be a good neighbor, if you will, in supporting those local businesses.
So speaking of being a good neighbor and supporting local, let's talk a little bit about your involvement with the Miami Beach Chamber of Commerce, because you serve not only on our board of governors, but our executive board of governors. And tell me why that service to the organization is so important to you and to your organization.
Well, one, because you're there.
Yay!
And, again, when you talk from a business perspective, that engagement in the chamber, advocacy is really important for what we do at the convention center. And then the support that we need, quite frankly, and it has to be, a two-way street. So even from, our amazing board chair, folks that sit on the board, the membership, et cetera, to be a part of that business community, and to be able to, three things I always say is partnerships, relationships, and friendships, monumentally important to me in everything that I do. And having that tie into the business community and what the chamber does for Miami Beach is incredibly important to what I do. So,
and I love hearing that, because when you think of these huge pillars in our community, like the convention center, you are a huge pillar in our community. And hearing you say that partnerships, relationships, and friendships are so incredibly important to you, I think that means the world to our local economy and our local businesses. Okay, going back to your role as general manager of the convention center, what do you think is the most unique or unusual skill that you've had to develop in that role specifically?
Oh my God. I think it's unique. I think you have to be very adaptable and flexible. I think that developing that type of skill set in the sense of, when you have a lot coming at you at any given point in time, you're dealing with a lot. I think that for you to be nimble, the worst you can do is not make a decision, right? I think that
absolutely
you make that decision, and if it happens to be the wrong one, you just kind of make adjustments. But being flexible, being nimble, and being really quick on your feet on the decision making is super important, because people are always watching you on the leadership side and seeing what you're going to do. And poise. I don't have a great poker face.
I think you have the best poker face. Well, then maybe everything's just always running super smooth at the convention center, because every time I see you, Freddie, you were just like relaxed, calm, just everything's going great.
Yeah, but if you would have followed me back at the convention and everything
go to the back of the house.
Back of the house, it might be a little bit different. No, but I think it's a bit of an art form that if you're able to make quick in the moment decisions and you're confident, and then you just kind of pivot. Yeah. And it's like, what's that saying? Water off a duck's back. You always got to just keep and be a duck on the water, right?
Right. I was just about to say, be a duck on the water.
Keep moving.
Just keep
always
paddling underneath.
Forward.
Yeah. Absolutely. But you're gliding along, but you're paddling frantically underneath. Absolutely. Okay. I give you a magic wand and you can wave it and you can host any event that you want at the convention center. Anything at all.
So that was one of the questions, right? And I was
Freddie's giving away all of our secrets on this show.
And I was thinking, there are so many. I don't have one event. I honestly, when you think of venues, stadiums, arenas, convention centers, performing arts centers, I hate to say this.
Magic wand. You can
don't
host
really,
anything you want.
I think what is a really cool show is the Consumer Electronics Show, but it is massive. I mean, it's in Vegas.
I was expecting like the Grammys or something, but you guys, have you hosted stuff like that before at the convention center?
Well, we just did one with the Latin Grammys. Yeah, and that was that partnership with the Convention and Visitors Bureau. But yeah, it sounds a little bit geeky, I guess, but
I mean, consumer electronics is super cool too. Yeah,
but they have all the fun,
the glitz
techie
and
side
glam
of it.
The celebrities coming in. I feel like that would have been.
But that's your favorite.
Yeah,
that would be yours. But no, I don't really have one exact one. I like the diversification of events. So seeing how different events like Adobe Max was in.
Yeah. Oh, and that was really unique.
Yeah. And
innovative.
They had, T-Pain as a closing performer.
Okay. So there we go. We blend a little bit now.
Right.
We're
so
blending the techie and the
right.
the nerdy. I don't want to say nerdy. It was your word. I borrowed it. with like the glitz and glam of the celebrity.
Right. So you kind of bring that all together. So I think there's every single, so there's not one event. I think every single event that we host is unique, distinct, and just special. So
because you and your team make it that way. And that's a testament, to the incredible leadership and team at the convention center. So we're going to have to wrap this up because, I can talk to you for hours.
Oh my God.
I know. I told you. We're going to have to wrap this up. So going back to little baby Freddie Peterson, we talked about him earlier and what he wanted to be when he was younger. What do you want to be when you grow up? If you can go back and talk to him today, what's one piece of advice that you would give him? What would you tell him? What would that conversation look like?
So I tend to move real fast.
Okay.
I think that younger, maybe I could have had a little bit more patience.
Okay.
And greater listening skills. Because again, I tend to move really, really fast. Years ago, I think it was quite a lot faster. So, but I think that would be the two things I would coach myself on.
Well, knowing you today, I think that those are two things that you were able to develop. Is having that patience and definitely with the listening skills. So I think you'd be proud. You should be proud of the steps that you've made.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Well, this has been so much fun, Freddie. Honestly, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us. And of course, thank you for watching and tuning in. This has been an episode of Business Beyond the Beach, our Miami Beach Chamber of Commerce talk show in partnership with our friends here